Hello everyone, this is Dr. B. Mahalakshmi, Assistant Professor, Department of Artificial Intelligence and Data Science. Today I am going to give the lecturer video about the course Digital and Mobile Forensics. Subject code is CCS343. So first let we see, before we are going to see what is digital and mobile forensics, we have to know what is forensic science. The forensic science is the application of the scientific methods to establish factual answers to the legal problems. It's nothing but using science to solve legal problems. It helps police and court find the truth by analyzing evidence from crime scenes. So, the forensic science is the application of the scientific methods to establish the factual answer for the legal problems. And next, definition of digital forensics. The digital forensics is a part of the forensic science. So here it deals with the digital devices. So this digital forensics also involves use of scientifically derived method for preservation, collections, analysis, and interpretations of the digital evidence from various scenes. The name itself saying it is a digital forensics, that is we are going to deal with the digital devices like laptops, mobiles, and hard disk internet data. It helps to collect the digital evidence, analyze it carefully, find out what really happened. So here in digital forensics, many specialized fields are there, especially network forensics, device forensics, and internet forensics. The network forensics is nothing but investigating internet and network activities. And device forensics, that is checking the mobiles, laptop, or hard disk. These all come under the device forensics. And internet forensics investigating digital data like email, browsing history, and online activity. So digital archaeology and digital geology. So digital archaeology refers to trace of the human behavior in computer system. Digital geology pretend to trace generated by the inherent process of the computer system themselves. So digital archaeology is nothing but traces left by the human actions like message, files, login history. The geology automatic trace created by the system like system logs and background process. Responsibility of forensic scientist in digital forensics. The role the forensic scientist is play the vital role establishing the factual answer to find the legal problem. So here the role of the forensics, the roles or the responsibility of the forensic scientist are collect the digital evidence carefully. First one, have to collect the digital evidence carefully or properly, and next one, follow the strict rules to collect the digital evidence, and third one, make sure evidence is not changed, that is they have to maintain the integrity of the digital evidence, and last one, present the correct facts to the court. So these are the four main responsibility for the digital forensic scientist. And crime and incidents. So crime, digital forensics is applicable both criminal law and private law context, serving as a crucial tool for law enforcement agencies investigating crimes and organizations addressing incidents such as policy violations. So here the crime and incidents, digital forensics is used for cyber crimes, for fraud cases, and policy violations in companies. The digital incidents is like a digital crime scene. So the incident in the digital forensics encompasses digital events or the sequence of the event with the scenes of the incident to a traditional crime scene. So here, and next one is the crime and incident. That is, the digital forensics is applicable both in the criminal law as well as in the private law context. Next one is digital devices. What are the devices we consider as a digital evidence for the digital forensics? Is digital devices like a laptop, phone, and digital media. The digital media examples hard drives and memory. Digital objects. Digital objects is nothing but discrete collections of the digital data. That is what data inside. That is, for an example, files, photos, email, a log history, and and messages. These are considered as a digital objects. So next one is forensic soundness and fundamental principles. Two important rules, that is principles or rules. The two important rules are very important in the digital and mobile forensic is evidence integrity and chain of custody. One is digital evidence integrity is nothing but what are the evidence we are collecting from the acts, the crime happened places. That evidence should not be changed. That is called as what? Evidence integrity. And change of custody is not, sorry, chain of custody is nothing but proper record of who handled the evidence. That is, that chain of custody, that data integrity or the status of the data should not change. That's chain of the confidentiality you have to maintain for the digital evidences. And to find what happened from the experts, they have to follow the five ideas. One is that the five steps they have to process based on the reconstruction, examine the evidence and identify the roles, build the evidence, arrange evidence in order, and test the final idea. So this is what the crime reconstructions in the digital forensics is nothing but it contains five steps process. Even that is called as what? Event based reconstructions, including examine evidence, identity the roles, build events, and arrange your event in order. Finally, test the final idea. So now we are going to see what is digital evidence. Already we saw the definition that digital devices is helping to collect the data. The data will be in the form of the digital. So that only we are saying it is a digital evidence. So digital evidence means any digital data. So that must be the reliable information and that should support to find whether crime has happened or not happened. So here the digital evidence, any type of the digital data like files, email, logs, messages, everything is considered as what? Digital evidence. What is the purpose of the digital evidence? It proves that evidence, what are the digital data we collected from the incident happened place that should prove something is true or that prove something is false. And layers of abstraction. So here the layer of abstractions. Digital evidence analysis often involves navigation through the layer of abstraction, where here in this computer works in different layers. Higher layer, easy for the user like apps and websites, and lower layer like technical details like code and system files. So the forensics expert, they must understand all the layers to find the hidden evidence. That is what the layers of abstraction. The forensic scientist or forensics analyst, they should have a capable to analyze the higher layer values as well as the lower layer. The higher layer is nothing but it's easy for the user like app applications and websites, and lower layers are technical oriented like the technical oriented details like codes and system files. That is called as what? Layer of abstraction. Metadata. Everyone we know very well about metadata. Data about the data. So the information, the metadata, valuable source of the evidence in digital forensics. Here, metadata means information about the file. So for an example, that details such as when the file was created, when the last modification was done, and location as and device, what are the devices they use. So these kinds of the data is considered as a metadata about the data. The metadata is very important because it helps the investigators to know who created it, when it was created, and where it was created. So this metadata is playing a crucial role for the digital investigation. That is, three things are very important. One is who created it, and when it was created, where it was created. And next one is error, uncertainty, and loss. So understanding and addressing the error, uncertainty. As a human, we are the error-based work nature, right? So here sometimes digital evidence may have the error, a wrong timestamp, or incorrect system clock. Uncertainty in the sense unclear location or unknown user identity, and loss in the sense deleted files or corrupted data. The forensics expert or analyst must carefully handle these issues to avoid wrong conclusions. So these are the things, metadata about the data. That data, it is used playing the crucial role, as well as the forensic scientists, they must have to handle carefully for the error and uncertainty loss issues when they are collecting the digital evidence, because these features lead to decide a wrong conclusion. So the forensics analysts, they must concentrate on the three features like error, uncertainty, and law issues. So here one real world examples they gave. SpyEye case. Here the SpyEye case was a malware used for the online bank fraud. So what happened? Criminal created malware. It infected millions of computer, and bank accounts were hacked. Huge money was stolen. So this case shows, the spy eye case shows cybercrime is complex, international corporations is needed, digital forensics is very important. Okay, and here digital forensics process. Here in this digital forensics process, step by step explanation, that is nothing but the outline of the textbook provide. Here the conducting the digital forensics investigation. Here in digital forensics follow the step-by-step process. Here we have incident reported, evidence collected, and evidence examined, analysis done, a report prepared, and presented in the court. So the process ensure proper investigation, accurate result, and quality assurance. Thank you. Let me see by next video. Thank you.